Hey guys, I'm Davey Wavey, creator of the gay erotic website Himeros.tv, and today I am joined by sex and intimacy coach Finn Dearhart. And today we're going to talk about gay sex, and in particular, a video that I'm having a lot of trouble pronouncing. Voyeur numérique is the best I can do from Google Translate.
It's pretty good. I know. I can't.
You're welcome to do better. Okay.
Voyeur and numérique. Numeric?
You sound so American. Let's get started. Himeros Live is brought to you by Himeros.tv. It's here, it's queer, but don't get used to it. It's time for the annual Himeros.tv year-end blowout. It's our biggest membership sale of the year, and we're kicking it off early for friends of Himeros.tv. You get a full year of Himeros.tv for just $99. That's $8.25 per month. That's a massive 45% discount, and you can lock that rate in for as long as you like. If you've been listening to the podcast and thinking, gee, I really want to watch these hot, creative, cock-throbbing erotic videos, but you've been waiting for the perfect time, that moment is now. That day is today. Just go to Himeros.tv/pleasure and join today. That's Himeros.tv/pleasure to get 12 months of Himeros.tv for just $8.25 per month. It is the perfect time to turn 2020 around and give yourself the tools to make 2021 the hottest, most pleasurable year of your life. Himeros.tv, it's like porn, but better.
Yeah.
Welcome.
What?
Nice to see you.
You too. We just said that, though. We said that beforehand.
Were we recording then? Because if so, it doesn't count.
No, but we're arguably nicer now.
Now that we know it's gonna be filmed and recorded. Yes. No Leo Rising today. I think there's some technical difficulties happening, but hopefully next week. Meanwhile, Finn, is your county under lockdown now? The new extended new lockdown 2.0.
Oh, yeah, right. Honestly, I don't know about this new lockdown. I just know that the state is under a variety of lockdowns. We are in a purple. Yeah. We're in a purple county.
Is that widespread, or is that not widespread?
Yeah, widespread.
Okay. Yeah. You're full on.
Yeah, full on. Yeah. But you know me, I barely get off my hillside.
Oh, wait, someone's joining us. Let's see.
Jesus. I've been wanting Jesus to join us.
I got a notification, but nothing's happening. Oh.
Hey, what's up?
Well, Oprah and Gail probably know what that felt like. I think that's really about it. It's like having all the wrong mic equipment, so I felt so bad. And then I found it because I remembered I hid it in my camera because I brought my Canon back from New York to Georgia.
Well, we are happy to have you.
You had a hero's journey.
Yeah, truly. Hey, how's Georgia? How was your trip back? Was it safe and sound?
You know the verse, or it's like the opening verse in the Christmas song, "Chestnuts roasting on an open fire." Mm-hmm. Well, I came home to my roommate collecting 6 gallons of pecans because we live below a pecan tree, and that brings her peace. So it just I came home to celebration, and now I have this cute little door handle that says recording in process, even though I'm late.
Tisk, tisk, tisk.
Tisk, tisk. Atmospherically, the weather is 61, and then it drops to 41. It's this beautiful night chill. People here are really soft. The decorations in this nearby town. I can't say the name of it, but it's a nearby town, and it's super, super. They're obsessed with Christmas. Well, their banners are all related to Christmas, and so I'm gonna do the house tour.
It sounds lovely. I mean, Finn and I are in the 7th tier of hell in California here.
It's hot.
No, it's not.
I wish it was hot, Leo.
Yes, that would be hot. That would be. No,
we're in
it's
Purple County.
It's because there's a new lockdown that has been rolled out in California. It's a little confusing though, because where I live in Palm Springs, it's supposed to be you only leave your house now for essential services. Yeah. Going to the supermarket. However, retail is still open at 10% capacity. So it's don't leave your house, but the outlets are open, but don't leave your house. but we're keeping the outlets open. It's a little bit of this weird mixed message, because I think they're trying to make lots of different audiences happy. Like the retailers are like, this is our most important time of the year. And so they don't want to get shut down. I don't know. It's a clusterfuck.
New York had a curfew. It wasn't really like implemented because I wasn't in Manhattan, so I really didn't notice. But I know that my friends who own businesses, bars, restaurants, cafes that are still doing okay in Harlem, like I bless him, but people are really going through it. I do think the retail industry is going to kind of, I'm on the positive tip for them. Something changed around that Biden win energetically, and I think people are just going to eat a little bit of the financial hole. Like we're all just going to have to admit, okay, there's a financial issue, whatever.
Speaking of eating holes, let's talk about today's video. No, I'm kidding. But that would have been a good, I
laid it down on purpose.
Thank you.
That would have been a really dismissive segue.
Yeah, all the economic.
That's your air sign. I'm like, just do it.
We've had a curfew in Palm Springs too. I went to Joshua Tree. That's kind of like my local happy place for a hike. Yeah. That was my excitement of the week. And I went with a friend and we hiked pretty much an hour at a good pace, just in one direction. And when we just kind of set our phones for an hour timer, and then when we got there, we just kind of stopped and we stopped talking, and we realized we were miles away from anyone. And the Joshua Tree has such this unique landscape. You can almost imagine it would feel totally appropriate if a dinosaur came up over the horizon and was like, why
a dinosaur?
Because it's one of the few places on Earth that is unchanged in tens of thousands of years.
Okay.
No streets, no no people, no houses. The trees that are in Joshua Tree, they're all hundreds and hundreds of years old. They just weren't cut down because they're too scraggly and Dr. Seuss So other than maybe a plane going by overhead, no signs of it's so weird. That was my big excitement.
I love it.
But actually the other big excitement, and I really do mean this, is watching today's video.
Okay. But
I'm getting better.
That was good. That was cute. I was like, what? Oh, the video. Okay, tell me.
Lee Rising, do you speak French at all?
Not well. Are you trying to say Dubois?
No. Oh, no. I've given up on that one. I'm trying to say voyeur numérique. Voyeur numérique.
Can you just play the Google one?
Numérique. Numérique?
Yeah, Google.
Yeah, but I'm on headphones.
Upper palette and just shoot it out.
Let's see.
Voyeur numérique.
Imagine someone.
I say in Spanish.
Oh wait! Imagine your favorite person to swallow kind of was a little dry, and it stuck at the back of your throat, and you're like,
what's stuck in the back of my throat? Their cum?
I don't say the word for some reason. I just don't.
Have you met us?
Y'all more to.
So voyeur numérique. It means digital voyeur.
Voyeur numérique.
Okay.
Voyeur numérique.
There we go.
We were not far off.
Voyeur numérique.
Okay,
you were far off. I wasn't off.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Coming for me.
I did not. The only thing I tried to do was be on time.
So it means digital voyeur. I thought it meant numerous voyeurs when I first saw the concept, which would also work because a lot of people, we all collectively are the voyeurs watching it, but digital voyeur. This is a concept by the one and only Finn Deerhart. We filmed this video in a French castle, also known as a chateau. And I think this is one of my favorite film shoots of all time. It was exactly a year ago. Finn remembers things differently, I think, being very cold.
This is the coldest thing I've done in a long time.
Yeah, no keto food.
Oh my God.
It's one of those things, I think, where you could have two different people with two completely different stories. I'd be we were in this romantic castle, had delicious creamy French food and cheeses for lunch and dinner, and we gathered around the fire at night to tell stories and laugh. Which I also tend to just remember the best of people and places and situations. I don't know why. I will forget the castle had no heat, that the toilet seat felt like sitting on like a frozen pond each morning.
Yeah, every
it was
morning.
Like ice. That we scratched the rental car. Huh?
I'll squat when you pee?
Well, to poop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I do squat to pee in the middle of the night sometimes, I have to be honest.
Really?
Please be honest.
I'm like, well, I might
Do you
as well
have to be honest? Do you have to be
I don't
honest?
have to. I think that
I think adults should be honest.
I think being a what did you say there, Leslie?
All adults should be honest.
Yeah.
Anyway, all those inconveniences were
I'll
just
say this.
minor details.
To be honest is a virtue and also like a feat of nature daily.
Yeah.
Oh.
To be honest, was it your least favorite film shoot set?
No.
Okay.
No. I loved aspects of it. It was just really cold.
It was so
really cold. Like there's this, I love this, like meaning occurs at the junction between code and context, meaning like, you know, how you experienced it is going to be like what you were maybe looking for in the experience. And same with me. I think I like during that time period, I had a lot of shit going on emotionally in my life. And so like the added like being cold all the time just made it really hard for me. Cause another time in my life might've been like, oh yeah, this is great. But I loved a lot of it. I loved the chateau.
The setting was enchanting. It was
and being
enchanting.
being in Paris beforehand and like hanging out, that was really fun.
Yeah.
That was way fun.
It was fun. I loved it. It was an adventure and super memorable. This video, I think it's one of my favorites. It features Gabriel Cross and JP Dubois, two of my favorite models. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I just did. They are, whatever. I think they're both wonderful. They're lovely to work with. They're great on camera. So in this video, they're having sex in one of the rooms of the castle.
It was cold.
No, we had industrial space heaters to warm it up. So it wasn't warm, but it was like comfortable.
But this is like what a real set would be like. Like this is that's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it is what it is. And
in this house, especially, like in this house, it's like it is what it is, right?
It's a castle. Yeah, there's
you
no
work with what you got. I can't. I mean, everyone has y'all were there, but like watching it, I was like, oh, this is rich. Like, it's beautiful. And those gentlemen really understood where they were in that scene. Mm-hmm. Like I was like, oh.
And they're like, they're both really, really experienced performers. So it's like seeing, what's her name? It's like Meryl Streep with, like Dame Judi Dench or something. It's like two people who have like earned their stripes, and they're just
know
like
which one's Meryl.
Meryl. Oh, see, because I feel like Gabriel is definitely a dame, you know. So Meryl, maybe JP is Meryl. Anyway. So the twist on this is that while they're having sex in this room in the castle, they talk directly to camera, inviting us to come closer, to take a look, have a taste. And so it basically becomes a threesome with us, between us and the models. It's breaking the fourth wall. Finn, I would love for you to share a little bit about this concept and kind of what you, wanted people to get from it.
The genesis, just
tell us the genesis.
Well, I'd have to say that like you and Ed helped really create the because like when I turned it in, it was different. I don't know if you remember that or not. It was different in the sense that I wanted to use digital voyeur. Y'all still did, but what I had thought was that someone would have an iPhone, remember, and it was like for somebody else, and to kind of model this idea of transparency and open relating. But then because the iPhone was like kind of would be like a really uncomfortable anachronism, like out of time, we're in a castle, that we decided to make it a fourth wall thing instead. And so that's the backstory. So that was your idea, but what the idea around it was, to be transparent. And also the idea of, like an intended performance, like, instead of performing just based on like an unconscious way of being in an experience or trying to like look a certain way, to on purpose like practice like being really authentic and showing that off for somebody, whether it's a partner or a boyfriend or a fuck buddy or friend even, you know, and like the value in that to be witnessed.
Yeah, I forget about that. That's right. It was originally supposed to be, and was it that like a third person was holding the iPhone, or were they holding it and recording it for someone else?
They were recording it for someone else,
Okay.
which is like one of my favorite things about like if I'm away from my partner and either one of us happens to do something with somebody, a lot of times it's someone that we mutually know and it's a friend anyway. We have kind of more of a network of people that's and they all almost really love being like, yeah, call them up and let's, you know, put them on FaceTime or whatever, and then it becomes like a three-way digitally.
Chronologically, this video, we filmed this before we did Journey season 2. So if you guys remember Journey season 2, like the main character breaks the fourth wall constantly, Andre Donovan's character, and in Journeys you become basically this like active participant in the series through the breaking of the fourth wall. And chronologically, we filmed this first. So this was like our first experiment with like what happens when we play with this fourth wall a little bit. Journeys takes it to the next level. Mm-hmm. But this was our first stab at it, kind of inspired by the Amazon series Fleabag. So, Leo Rising, I'm curious what you thought of today's video.
You actually hooked me on Journeys Takes It to the Next Level because I'm not comparing the series to this video, but I feel that they were very balanced and even. And I felt I was most satisfied with this video when the third person never had a limb, never had a foot. Like I was actually the third person. Mm-hmm. I kept saying, oh gosh, just don't show me a hand. Don't like suddenly, don't do anything. And I was like, wow, like in so long, because, you know, I've been very upfront about my particular process and my creative process and like this integrity thing I have with like, I don't want to overwatch it, but I want to watch it. And this is like one of the first videos in a long time I was like, ooh, I'm like in this one. Like I was like, I'm in this shit. And I actually really loved, Finn, I really loved your write-up. I wish it was like 6 chapters of a book. I felt a lot of peace and connection around Gabriel's dialogue before the first act of Fellatio. There was just like these offerings that he was giving to JD, and they were coming to the third viewer, the point of view viewer, and I was just like, oh, what a wonderful way, like my heart chakra is actually responding to this. And so heart chakra for y'all at home is like your sternum, the middle of your lungs. Like I was like, I'm actually responding to this. Like I can feel them connecting, and that is rare, and that is Dame Julie and Streepish. And that is very special. And then the only critical thing my eye had, and it was like such a silly critic thing, it was like there's this cut of when it's like beautiful green and sea moss window, and then on the bed I'm like, oh, it's about to go down, and then all of a sudden we're back at the window, and I was like, when did we get back to the window? Other than that, I was like, I really enjoyed it. I found it to be like it made me think of bread and butter, but like a proper European, like I'm obsessed with bread and butter. Like very simple, like it's decadent bread and butter. Like, yes, it's sex. Yes, it's threesome sex, but it was rich. And I would go to this bakery often for their bread and their butter.
Yeah. Oh, well said. They have a comfortability with themselves and the sex that they're having that like, even if you're not there, you feel pulled to that level. Like they're modeling a comfortability with each other and the gay sex that like Gabriel's like, hey, come on, like take a closer look. Like, come on, get in there. Like have a taste. I think initially when I first saw it, it was like a little bit jarring as soon as they start looking to the camera, because in traditional porn etiquette, there's like, even though the camera is literally like directly in your face, there's this unspoken agreement between the models, between the camera, between the viewer, that the model will pretend like hell that the camera is not there, which is funny, right? Isn't it? Like if we're thinking about authenticity, like obviously the camera is there. Mm-hmm. How come we never fucking acknowledge it? And like no one ever shoots a huge load and they're like, And then I look at the camera and they're like, how about that? Like, did you see it?
It was adorable. With that was adorable. But I think he said something like, I'm not going to be the only one getting a facial today. And I blushed so hard because I was like, did Finn write that? Or is that like...
No.
That's just Gabriel just Gabrieling.
We weren't in the room, I don't think, when that was filmed because the room was too small, I think. And they were doing too much like moving around the room. Like there was nowhere for Finn and I to hide.
Yeah.
So it was just the director and maybe the camera person.
Wow.
Yeah, like the audio guy and...
Oh, right. So there were 5 people in the room.
Who's the director?
This is Ed.
Just Ed?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what he goes by.
I like it.
Yeah, Ed's really, really good.
He is.
He's edgy and his heart is in it. Like I always know he's filming the project that we're doing in January in the UK, which unfortunately I'm not going to be able to travel there for. But like I just know that it's in good hands because he's like such a visionary and he's just so good at it. Yeah.
I've always had like this little like sweet crush on Ed.
Totally.
I love watching him work and like how he just gets so into it and then, like his accent and just everything. I mean, it's fun. I like connecting with him.
He has really awesome people skills. And like he doesn't, some directors have a lot of like kind of get caught up in their authority or like he's just, it's collaborative, it's fun, it's art. You know, it's really cool.
It read his art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me want to do more at the fourth wall though, watching this. I'm like, oh, there's so much more we can do with this.
So point of interest if you want it, you mentioned like you don't see much of that. And what I thought was like in the deep dive of porn on the internet, like there is a section for point of view, but it's not as VR and interactive as this. This almost felt like that Black Mirror episode where you can choose on Netflix. Like I was like, maybe actually we might need Dominique to cut this because this should be something that maybe gets built for 2022. It was like choose your own adventure with Himeros would be dope.
We don't want to cut it. No, that's awesome.
Okay. That's really, really, really cool. And I want to write that one.
I'm on it. We can teamwork, but I just feel like I just felt like I wanted to push the screen and make other choices.
What about this? It's choose your own adventure. There's like, you know, the red pill, the blue pill or whatever it is. There's like one door, another door.
Okay, no more Joshua Tree for you if you're going to the red pill, blue pill.
Finn writes one branch of the tree and Leo Rising writes the other branch of the tree. So like it can end in completely
there are branches all over the red and blue, so they have to connect.
I think there's a way. I mean, there's a way. Yes.
Okay.
I want to read a few comments. Oh, wait. First, before I say that, JP's sports socks, which like totally don't fit the vibe of like this like weird castle that they're in. I was so into it. So into it. I love those socks.
What's up?
Me too.
You didn't even notice it. Yeah, he had these like Adidas socks on.
Kinks. You guys have like really standard gay kinks, and my kinks are like, did you feed me today? Did you think to text me?
Yeah. I'm like, I wanted to like rub his feet. And yes, and the facials at the end, the cum that's like stuck to everyone's faces. It was a lot to behold. All right, let's read a few comments. Norm Ron says, hot video of 2 beautiful men. Their invitation to the viewer to join their pleasure was both erotic and exciting. I especially loved Gabriel's giggles and facial expressions, which is so true. He does have this like mischievous, like little like giggle and grin and like noises that he makes.
It's a fallen cherub.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
It's very Dante's Inferno. I can see him just like
cherub
being one of the little demons going.
Except not though. Like it's like because it's I don't know.
It's gleeful though, right? It's gleeful.
Yeah.
He enjoys like being like sweet and edgy at the same time.
And he's bringing people pleasure and like ecstasy, you know, like it's Gilbert, this is funny. Gilbert says, oh my God, JP's ball sack gets me every time. Wow. I didn't notice JP's ball sack. Is there anything particular about it?
I didn't notice either. I think that illustrates his love of ball sacks.
Because I did kind of like rewind a little bit. I'm like, oh, does his balls hang really low? Which I probably would have noticed.
Probably not in the temperature.
Yeah, they were pretty firm and heavily creased. So then I wonder if Gilbert, you can clarify. Let us know.
Yeah, I mean, we're hearing maybe, like a appetite here. Yeah,
maybe that's his thing, is like a tight sack. Because I like dangly balls that like slap me in the ass when I'm getting fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why you live in Palm Springs, where it's really humid.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of sex in Palm Springs, unfortunately, though.
Right now, not now.
I mean, ever.
That's not true.
It is true. Yeah, I don't have a lot of sex here.
Pre-COVID?
I'm
gonna check the text history.
Do you get sex dates? I mean, sex updates? I don't get sex updates. I just get yelled at.
You get yelled at? I've gotten yelled at.
You don't. No one has been yelled at.
Well, I know that's true too.
I did throw my phone across the office, but I couldn't.
I will say you're late. That's not yelling. It's just a fact. Billy B says, great concept, Finn. Looking forward to hearing you discuss how it manifested itself from your perspective. For me, what made the scene the hottest was that although you could not actively participate as the actors had invited because of simple things like time and space and being on different sides of the camera, what did shift for me was I was invited to actively be a voyeur, whereas most porn I passively watch. This subtle shift for me made it hotter to view. And JP in the scene, well, that's just the icing on the cake.
Wow.
As always, Himeros' signature settings, lighting, and production created another beautiful piece. Looking forward to more and to the follow-up discussion.
I really appreciate it.
I have one more to read. This is from SLB 68107. Being an old theater warhorse, breaking the fourth wall is usually very annoying to me. Seeing it happen in porn, where one of the actors looks at or behind the camera, just wrecks the scene. This, on the other hand, felt like interactive theater with the audience invited to participate and interact with the performers. Unique and innovative ways to stage your scene. JP is always one of my favorites. And then there's Gabriel, that grin, that giggle, that naughty twinkle in his eye. Why is every man named Gabriel nothing like the angel they're named for? LOL.
I mean, I could go on a 2-hour spiel about Archangel Gabriel, but we're going to leave that alone. Gabriel is nailing it.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on voyeur numerique?
I mean, I do want to say, like, in the way it started out, like showing our boyfriends. I mean, I think when couples are working with open relationships, it can be a really fun way to keep a kind of safety while they're playing with someone else. And it can be fun if it's, almost all the people that I've ever done that with in my relationship have thought it was fun and wanted to, because they were also friends with my partner. And yeah, it can be really helpful. But a lot of times guys will be like, that's, they're kind of uncomfortable about revealing maybe to somebody else. But I just think it can be really helpful to build trust. And yeah. Are
you suggesting to do it like through an iPhone, like on FaceTime? Or are you suggesting doing it in person where like the person just doesn't, they're just kind of the voyeur in the room?
Well, that too. Yeah, that can be even. It kind of depends on the couple, I mean, for some people that'd be really challenging. The phone might be easier, but then other people would probably disagree because they're not able to be there. But I just think it's about like talking about what you're wanting and showing instead of compartmentalizing our lives in a certain way. And that can be a way to help build trust. It's not always, but it can be.
Speaking of trust, great point first. But speaking of trust in a relationship, I appreciated that there was no humiliation with having the person observe. I think there's a lot. I think the trope of like cuckolding is sort of beat to dead end. Like I think it's sort of done. And I don't necessarily think the stress levels of the average person who at least during the pandemic right now doesn't really need to pull on like, yes, like whip me, make me feel like shit further. So it was nice to have this like upbeat invitation, and it was like, it was kinky, but it was like kinky like how my hair is kinky. You know what I mean? Like a cute curl.
I was like, no, you're gonna have to help me with this one.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
Like a cute curl. Okay,
like
I get it.
Curl. Like
yeah.
it was like cute curl up of kink instead of it. Not that there's anything wrong with I love me some dark shit, but there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a matter of it's nice. It was refreshing in a really unexpected way to have it be in the family of non-monogamy, in the family that could like branch off to like fierce humiliation. Like that's the sex. It's like I'm fucking someone else. Doesn't that do something to you? And it's like, no, I'm sharing my great skills that I have and my capacity for love and affection and intimacy, and it turns you on and it's nice. That's what I took out of it, and from what you just said.
We did film a Cuck Scene in Sweden.
As you should.
With JP. He was in it, Caden and Bishop. And but it was, I think that one's coming out in May or June. And it starts with this like opening conversation of them like sitting on the porch, like kind of like talking through. It's done in a way. It doesn't play into the trope at all, as you're saying. It's done in this really sweet way, and it's not like you can't have this or look what I'm doing. It's also kind of in a similar like playful and warm and inviting way. It's a really hot scene. Finn, that was in Sweden, right?
Yeah, I wrote that one.
Yeah, I wrote that one. And NBD coming soon to Himeros.
It's a really, I mean, honestly, I have to say that about the humiliation piece. I wonder, because I know some people, this isn't everybody's theme, you know, like everybody has a very different symbolic reason why, but a very big piece that people are working out through humiliation play is like having control on humiliation that they experienced earlier in life. And it can be really healing if they're doing it in a way that's like, I guess they're intending towards it, you know, and like watching your partner get fucked by somebody else can be a really challenging experience for a lot of people, but it can also really help one deal with like a reality that not one person can fulfill all the needs. So it's just kind of like depends on if guys really want to hold the pieces that it connects with, even if it's involves like degradation of some kind or humiliation play. That could be part of somebody's script that they're trying to work on. Confronting
is confronting. That's just all it is.
Yeah.
I have to say the between now and the end of the year, the next like I guess 3 more videos that come out before 2021, we're in like this really good stretch of really interesting videos. Each one is like different and exciting, and I'm obsessed with all of them. So
good.
Yeah, we're just like right through the end of the year. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Do you know when does Feel the Word come out? Do you know?
Yeah, I can check.
Oh my God. I've been looking for that one.
What do you like about that one?
Feel the Word. It's about self-authority. It's kind of shocking, you know?
What's shocking about it?
You mean when you tell the plot?
Well, there's one thing in particular that happens in it that's pretty shocking. You can say it.
Okay, yeah, like Bishop Black and it's JP actually is when I think of him. They're playing around and they're like getting more and more intense with a Dom sub dynamic, and there happened to be a Bible sitting by, and they like picked it up, and Bishop put it in JP's mouth. And like he clamped down on it and he was getting fucked while he has this Bible in his mouth. And it's the idea of like Feel the Word is like an internal reference point of self-authority, because they're advocating in real time too about how much is too much intensity and backing off. And so I was in the room when they were filming it. It was fucking awesome. I can't wait to see it. I was curious.
I think the Bible gets cummed on.
Yeah.
Not like intentionally, but like some cum lands on the Bible.
Yeah.
And when the editor was working on the trailer for Himeros TV, he like put that shot in. And I was like, I think we need to give people a little bit more context than just seeing like this like sacred text be cummed on.
I totally agree. That would have been a little bit rash, probably. Yeah.
We would have lost people at the jump start. So that's March 15th. That's what it's scheduled for it now.
It's March. Yeah.
Oh my God. A lot of these get moved though, because like we're gonna film something in January, and then as those come out, I'll like put those into the schedule. So it'll probably be more towards like the end of March.
I would keep a very special day.
It's a really hot video. It really is like that. It's a really good one.
Yeah, I don't doubt that at all. I watch enough horror and deep occult study that has to do with like the Abrahamic faiths and Catholicism to understand that, and just all this, like you said, self-authority. Like I'm looking forward to exploring that because there's already so much. There's already a super strong sexual through line in that religion, and the repression it fosters, and the breakout that people have to go through. I mean, how many folks? I don't know about many other folks. Like I'm not a direct PK, but I know that like you are, right? Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot, and the sacral energy there and the sacral concepts, they deserve their space. That dream state of like I can rip into it, I can bite it, I can spit it, I can set it on fire. Like I've seen enough movies where it was set on fire. I can totally watch everything happen to that book.
Leah Rising, I am excited to tell you this. I haven't had the chance to share this with you, but next week we're filming. I just took my COVID test yesterday. We're going to shoot a video in my house with a sex magician. And he's doing Sex Magic 101 and Sex Magic 102. We're filming like a 2-part thing that we're going to release the same day. Each of those parts, part 1 and part 2, are 30 minutes. So it's going to be like a 60-minute video that comes out, 2 30-minute videos that come out. And it's like super witchy and really, really fun. And it's fucking long. There was no way that we could do it in less than an hour. So
are you doing the sex magic or watching it?
Me?
I love it. Me?
No. The sex magician is doing it.
It's like I'm paying the magician.
I will be ordering the takeout. Yeah.
Did you write your petition?
My petition?
I mean, don't just give that boy a check. Like, write your petition. Like, what are you getting at? What are you manifesting out of this? Aside from
I think he's manifesting like, I forget what his intention is, but it's his intention. It's not mine. So he's doing.
You're leaving it open. That's really sweet. The universe is going to bless you. Threefold.
Who wrote this one, brother?
I want to get the name right. So
Super
hang
intrigued.
on. Just give me 1 second. There's
This
a guy
sounds really cool.
He specializes in sex magic.
Oh wow.
His name is Bruce Grether.
Okay.
And so it's going to be with one of the guys from the New Mexico retreat, who's like a protege of Bruce's, like in practicing sex magic. A lot of it is kind of passed down through like oral tradition, well, no pun intended, but like oral tradition. And
it should be.
He's excited to have it kind of documented in this way for other people to learn from it. I think I said on one of our podcasts, because there was quite a bit of sex magic in New Mexico, and one of the guys said, every time you jerk off without an intention, you're casting an empty spell. Mm-hmm. And so will this land for everyone? For sure not, but I think it's fun to kind of give people a taste.
For sure.
I'm really excited for folks to experience something like that, especially within our community. Gay bisexual males they venture into it a little late, and sex magic is definitely and rightfully so a uvula dominant practice. And so it's really even hard to find written material directed at how male to male tantra, male to male energy works, male to male manifestation works. Like, where is our yoni? Mm-hmm. Like etherically, not like anatomically. And then if you are with someone who is if you are with a trans man, like how to like maintain their masculine balance that they worked really hard to be present with. That's something I considered with one of my last clients about 4 years ago. I was like, this is where we have to stop because I'm capped out. There's just things I don't know as a baby. Like, you know what I mean? As a baby spiritualist, I'm like, I don't know where this goes, but I want you to come back when you figured it out. So I'm hyped for this. The sex magic that he is going to demonstrate is a solo practice too, which is like fun for people to do at home. Do we need to write a kit? Does Himeros need to build and sell a kit? Are we airdropping kits now? Like with crystals and stuff? Yes, I will help you source that. This is probably a good time to mention that we got nominated for a whole shit ton of awards this year. We got nominated for an XBiz award, which is Gay Website of the Year, and then 7 Gay VN awards, including 4 for Journeys Season 2, which were
Best Director, Best Series, Best Actor, Andre Donovan, Best Supporting Actor, Adam Ramsey. The other 3 awards were for 3 of the quarantine videos that we did. Man Behind the Suit, Some of Our Parts, and Through the Glass. Now, I know Leo Rising is going to say that I'm hiding from my greatness, but I do.
I wasn't going to say that shit on air. I was going to be nice.
I feel both ways. So let me say this. On one hand,
please give them context.
Okay, so on one hand, I don't really care about awards because, like, I'm not creating these videos or like running this website for like critical acclaim, right? And if anything, I think sometimes it's better for us to kind of fly under the radar. And I like that our content is edgy and like not mainstream. And in fact, if it's like getting recognized by the mainstream, I'm like, well, is it not edgy enough? It's kind of what Leo Rising last week, we were talking about negative comments, and it was like, oh, I'm not doing this for someone else to say good job. Like I believe in what we're doing. The people that we work with believe in what we're doing, and that's like totally enough for me. On the other hand, of course, it does feel really good to kind of get the recognition. And as our site grows and as we get more members, I think it's inevitable that we're not always just going to like fly under the radar. So that was pretty exciting. Also surprising because like we don't sponsor these events. My understanding was that like you basically have to pay to play. Like if you want to get awards, you need to buy tables and buy sponsorships with the companies that are putting on the shows. And we don't do that. And then there's this part of me that's like, well, you know, like these awards are great, but what's the point? Like, does Journeys being nominated for 4 awards mean that like people who weren't going to join Himeros TV suddenly will? Like, I doubt it. I don't really see like this huge marketing value in it. I could be wrong. But what surprised me was how excited all the models were, and how like Matt Lynn, the director of Journeys, was when the nominations came out. Like it really meant something for them. Like it carries a lot of weight for them to be recognized for their work. And that made me see things a little bit differently. Like, oh, there is a value to this. Even if it's not in marketing, like if it's just in making the people who helped create this feel some recognition for what they
totally
together.
Can I make it really simple for you, Davey? Just
Please do.
Just like a caramel kettle popcorn piece I made myself, and I just want you to taste it.
Okay.
How you treat people always comes back to you.
I think so too.
How you've treated everyone who collaborates with you, and considering them collaborators and not staff. And on our shoot in Missouri, like that was like my first experience on anything like that. But I was also like in my production mind, like I've seen scarier things. I just haven't actually got to be around sex, right? Kink Coach Paul, what did they say about their experience in comparison to the studios, hard studios they worked with at earlier stages in their life compared to working with Himeros? You know what I mean? It's like when you curate that level of ease, art can occur, and art bypasses all buy-ins for anything. If you're making art, it skips ahead. And when people forget to make art, you have to pay marketers. You have to pay for things.
That's what you're saying.
And you invest in everyone to bring their art, and then they bring their art, and that's where the magic is. So
totally
under the radar, honey, but Zeus has other plans. You named your company after their dual sex child. The whole deal. Like, what did you think was going to happen, Davey?
Right. Himeros, the Greek god of desire.
Yeah. And also I was going to say too, like art also, it gets people's attention in a way that it's tapping into something I think that goes beyond the impetus to like consume. So there's something about it that like interests people. I mean, that's what I hope, you know, that's part of the motivation too.
Yeah. I was just surprised when like suddenly all these, and I was like the last person to know, because like it's not like they send me an email and they're like, you've been nominated, your site has been nominated for all these awards.
Right.
They just kind of like post it online, and it took me a couple of days to like even know. I was like, wait, what? We got nominated for what? So I mean, considering how a long time ago, I mean, you'd mentioned like being at an awards show and people being, I don't know exactly what you were at, and people are so like cold to you and distant to now. I mean, it's a pretty quick turner. Yeah. Well, but there's also a difference between like that was when we first launched Himeros TV, like a gazillion, three years ago, I went, and a lot of the other websites who I thought were going to be like, oh, this is awesome that you're now in the space and you're bringing new people to the table and you're going to do things in different ways and we can work together. They saw me, and I didn't expect this, but they saw me as like, oh, a competitor. Like, oh, you're going to be like fighting for a bigger slice of our pie. And like, it's already crowded enough. There's enough sites. Why are you doing this? That was kind of the energy that I got. I think the people who make decisions around the awards are probably a different group of people. Like industry folks that like maybe work more on the back end of things. So I don't know. But it was just a very different environment coming from YouTube, which was all about collaboration, to this, which felt all about competition. And I was like, oh, that's not how I see this.
Pardon, but every mainstream movie that has been written about the gay porn industry documents it as a mafia. It's really dark, and it doesn't make people always feel the greatest. And so a lot of the camaraderie that you already brought in from your YouTube experience and just who you are, and the placement that you intuited, like, let me stay over here in my own lane, really helped people activate what they were seeking for in like tribal building. And just the fact that you're never actually competing with anyone, you're looking for ways to help the pie taste better.
Totally. Why?
Or make the pie bigger. You know, it's like,
or have two pies.
Right. Let's order another one.
Yeah. And I'll go on record just as saying it may sound like I'm just like praising Davey, but if you work with
it does sound like that.
No, you know what? Like, that's my gift to the world. Like, I know the exact bullshit in someone, and I know the exact best parts of someone, and I've only continually got the best parts out of the two of you. And so it puts on my Papa line, and I get a little defensive, but also it's like on paper, on record, and then stylization, and then merit, and then articulation, and then the rarest thing of all, it's like gay men who talk about issues beyond like health issues, political issues, emotional balance, psychology. Like, what other studios are really asking their community, how can we help you be better in your real life? Not just how can you pay us $4 today, $70 tomorrow, but keep doing, what is that thing called? T, like, keep doing your drugs, keep doing this. Like, you guys like take care of your audience and your models. It's a big, your pie's different. Don't give your recipe up, but your pie's different.
I'd be happy if other people like followed like some of the stuff that we're doing differently. Like if it did transform the industry, if people were suddenly like, oh, we're going to do this and that and provide like aftercare for models. And like, I would be happy for that aspect of the recipe to catch on. Like, I think like the success of other people doing this just like lifts us up too. So anyway, let's answer some questions. We never do that, and we have a little bit of time, and people have been writing in. And
you also didn't answer the phone last week either.
I was like, why are you calling me in the middle of our podcast?
Because I love you.
I love you too. I thought you were. I didn't know what you were doing, so I was like, I'm not answering this. If you guys have any questions and comments, send them to Davey at daveywavey.tv, or you can call 612-470-5729. I know a few of you have called. We will get to those voicemails, but please keep them coming. We especially like those. All right, this question number one, it's about threesomes. I had to put it in today's thing after the voyeur numerique. Okay, so the question is, and I am going to preface this by saying I have a lot of thoughts on this, but maybe be helpful for you guys to go first. This is the question. I want to have a threesome and my boyfriend isn't open to it. I've been persistent and he begrudgingly agreed to do one with a guy who I've been chatting with. I wanted to see if you guys could give me any advice. Then there was a whole bunch after that, but this was kind of the meat of the question.
What is some of the whole bunch?
Of like stuff afterwards?
Just like the first thing your eye catches. I feel like we're missing something.
They've been like in a relationship for 4 years. It was just like, it was kind of a little bit of contextual stuff.
Okay.
So it's not a new relationship. This is just triggering for me because like within maybe the last 2 years, I had an experience of a threesome where the boyfriend wasn't open to it. And I didn't know that until it started. So like I have the benefit of hindsight on like how that unfolds, which like the last thing I want to do is like show up to, I guess I'm answering the question, is show up to like have sex with someone and one of the people doesn't want to, like if your boyfriend doesn't want to do it, then like don't do it. like that's it was,
you know,
you say no?
Well, no, I thought you were finished, but you weren't. I want you to finish.
It was just like, it's not fun when a threesome works when all three people want to do what they're about to do. Sex in general works well when everyone involved is like excited and like into it. Like I didn't appreciate, it was like right as I got to the door, I got a text message saying, oh, you owe me big time because my boyfriend doesn't want to do this. Like you all can't see my face because this is a podcast, but I was like, what? Like, well, then why do I want to do it? Like, and owe you? Like, no, this is like, that's like, I don't want to have sex with someone that's just like,
no, that's not the energy you want.
Yeah. And that's how, and it was, and like, that's the sex was awful. Like, and actually when we had sex, the boyfriend, well, this is like, now I'm just spilling it all, but the boyfriend who didn't want to do it got like instantly hard. And actually the chemistry between him and I was really good. And then the chemistry between the boyfriend who wanted to do it was like completely off. And cause I just read him as like an asshole. He just had like asshole energy. And so then I think like, then he got jealous that it was just bad. I'm done. I'm turning my mic off. I'm going for a walk. What do you guys think?
I mean, is the question, what should he do about it? Because I thought, I didn't with him like, okay, and what? Like,
he wanted he said, I want to see if you guys could give me any advice. His boyfriend doesn't want to have a threesome, but he's been persistent and finally got the boyfriend to say, okay, fine, begrudgingly to do one.
Well, it sounds like they don't have a whole lot of, I mean, I'm assuming, but it doesn't sound like a rich dialogue has happened around all this. And it's like, can we not, permission, tugging back and forth about like who has the power in that dynamic, rather than like, this is something I really want to do. This means a lot to me. This is why it means a lot to me. Like, you might want to spend some time exploring what that means. What are your concerns? What would be, what would help make that more fun for you? Are there any conditions that would make that fun for you? I mean, it could go on and on and on. Like this is incontrovertible for me. I really want to do this. This is a big, deal breaker kind of situation. Well, then even raise the ante, but it's still about how can you collaborate with each other about it, because back and forthness won't help either way. Even if you concede, you're going to be potentially resentful if the boyfriend goes along with it without all this, it's just a problem later that sounds like it could be a problem. That said, it could also be really fun. Sometimes I've been like, no. Okay, fine. This was great. So you're kind of playing with fire anyway. That's what I'd say.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Earlier, I made a comment like confronting and confronting. So things that are confronting, you just kind of can only confront them. However, in this case, no one should ever lose compassion by trying to go through the labyrinth of lust. So it's okay to desire. It's okay to express your desires with your partner. It's okay to take time daily, monthly, weekly, hourly, figuring out the right way to approach your partner about your progressing desires and your degressing desires. Like sometimes you're into things, sometimes you're not. And to listen to them. So the compassion part is like really listening to and noticing their nonverbals, noticing the kinds of shows they're shifting into. Because if you're trying to bring someone into your relationship, it's the inarticulated mistrust that's going to really fuck that up for everybody.
Yeah.
So that's why I said, for me, right? So I need the context. So I was like, if you were to read that to me, because my initial empathic response was, I heard you say he's been talking to this person for a while. I was like, but the boyfriend's not talking to the person. And that's all I needed to know. Yeah. So the greatest thing is that if your partner, because here's the thing, if they're non-monogamous, you're going to have partners that wouldn't even be friends. So then you have to figure out that formula for yourself. Like, why is that your fruit salad? Why is there eggplant in your grape and watermelon fruit salad?
That's great. I don't know what exactly you mean, but I have a
But I agree.
yeah, that feels good.
I don't know what you mean, but I agree. That's Don't get fucking eggplant in your fruit salad.
I hate eggplant anyway, but let's
Okay.
Nightshades.
I have another question. This one comes from a guy named let's see if I get this right. Davey Wavey. Okay. He writes, I recently turned 37. The bitch turned 37 in July. But anyway, and the sides of my head are starting to get salt and peppered, as you can see. Lately, I have been using hair dye to wash out some of the grays. Do I, number one, continue this for the rest of my life? Or number two, just let my hair naturally gray? If I dye it brown, eventually it's going to look silly, and then I'll go from brown hair to gray hair overnight. I actually wrote that all out. So we don't talk a lot about like the aging process. And it's like, for me, it's one of the very like outward like expressions of that happening. Like I used to just have brown hair like up here, but now the sides are getting kind of salt and peppery. I'm trying to turn my head so you guys can see it on camera. And for the last probably like 2 years, I've been doing like a gray wash, which makes it like more the color of the top of my head. And it's just apparent to me that like at some point I'm going to look ridiculous with like these like dark brown hair. And then what? I just like stop and then instantly I'm like all gray? Or do I just let it naturally happen? Dwayne says I'm too young to go gray. He's like, you should keep it up for a few more years. But I'm curious what you guys think.
I didn't know this was actually you. So I'm processing. That was your note. You're never too young to explore color.
People are, yeah.
You don't want to be gray, be fucking lime green. You don't want to be lime green, be purple. Like shave it military bald, but you're never too young to explore color. You're never too old to explore color. And gray just means some colors are going to stick better.
Do you think, is it disingenuous for me to be like gray does not feel appropriate for, like, I don't feel like a gray haired man, but I am a gray haired man. Like, obviously I am, right? Like it's turning gray. So like, don't I just have to make peace with that?
Well, you just said it.
You did.
What did I say?
I don't feel like a gray haired man, but I am a gray haired man.
Right. So do I make my outside match my inside, or do I match my inside to, or do I like make peace with it?
What's your favorite thing about trees?
What motivates the question?
I knew someone was going to say that. Oh, I knew, I was just waiting for it because I really like old growth trees. And now I'm turning into an old growth tree. And so shouldn't I like that?
Yeah.
I
just
don't.
Go hug a tree.
Personal vote, here's a personal vote. I love your gray hair. Gray hair is cool. I think it's cool. I personally feel like dyeing the hair. This is again my opinion, whatever.
Yes.
Who cares? But like,
no, I'm open to it.
I've dyed my hair a lot in my life for different reasons, but we all do some sort of beauty modification, or I say that loosely. Most people do something to manicure themselves for the purpose of trying to feel better in some way. But I also just have to say, I like it when guys let their hair just do what it does, because I find it more attractive. Kind of like, well, what's wrong with being a gray hair guy? Is it that you don't like the color gray, or is it you have a, like, right?
No,
like,
it's what it signifies.
Really, yeah, what does it signify?
It's the story of like, and I also think as someone that generally likes younger guys, that for me, this like further kind of, it's a, it makes
the gap.
Yeah, and it makes it more apparent that like, oh, I really am 37, or the best advice I ever got from a guy who likes older men, who lives here in Palm Springs. He's actually older than me, but he likes older guys. And he said the type of younger guy that you're going to attract is not going to be into a 37-year-old that's looking like they're 18. It's going to be into a 37-year-old that is like embracing who they are and confident and comfortable in their skin. Like, that's the appeal of dating someone older. They're not going to, like, if someone's only going to date you because you look like you're 18, like, that's not the kind of boy you want. I thought that's good advice.
Also, you attract the best partners, friendships, collaborations when you're happy with yourself. And so if you need to just offer yourself morning space or evening space. You should just kind of let the gray teach you how to be happy with yourself. I know it sounds like really Care Bearish, but
I love it though.
you have to be gentle because these are involuntary things. This is just something that your body has already agreed that it's going to do.
Right.
And the only person having an issue is your perception of yourself, what you don't want to be. But it's like, this isn't affecting what you don't want to be. It's evidence that you've lived every day up into the first gray sprouting so greatly that you could get to live another day with a new gray and another one. So it's speckles of your experience. Like, you're so worried about the narrative, but the narrative is still going.
And there's probably a 25-year-old out there that like loves guys with salt and pepper hair.
Totally gonna suck your like the moment you just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Totally. And like the real aspect of it, I tell myself this too, you know, when I catch myself being, I don't know, we all do this. It's like human nature. It's like the real is like what's really happening. And like, you know, well, I really am this age. I really am going through what I'm going through, even though I don't want to. And, you know, struggling against that ends up feeling like a waste of energy. Because typically when I step into whatever it is and I'm feeling like resistant to, I feel better. You know, I'm like, oh God, why did I fight that? You know?
Right. And it's not going to stop with gray hair. Like, there's going to be something else.
Oh, no.
There's going to be like, do I want to struggle against like the natural flow of life? Right. Like, I don't think so. I don't think I want to put my energy into that.
No. I mean, it's not like I think it's hard though. I mean, I do this with my body and you know, like up and down. Like sometimes I go for long stretches feeling just like super accepting, or then I'm in a rough patch emotionally and feeling like I want to alter things, you know, a lot. I'm like, oh, what is this shit? Like, this isn't going to help me. This is just like some sort of like quick coping thing.
All right. Well, I will save the other questions for.
Is it like about your pecs or something? Are we going to get a question about?
Oh, no, they're not my questions. They're not my questions. I just jumped the line with that question. But
oh, you didn't write that one?
No, that was mine. That was my question.
Yeah, I was joking. Like, we get new ones next week, and they're like, okay, so I have another question. So
I'm becoming more comfortable with this is from John. I've become more comfortable with my gray hair, but my pecs are starting to sag to my fucking ankles.
All right.
All right. In conclusion, next week we are discussing honorable discharge, and Dylan Diaz will actually be joining us for real this time. I know we keep saying that next week, but no, he actually will be here next week to discuss that video. Finn, where can people get more of you?
FinnDeerhart.com, FINNDEERHART.com, and Instagram.
And Leo Rising, where can people get more of you?
Yo, y'all can always find me on the Himeros podcast, homies. You can also check me out on Instagram at Leo Rising Official. And this weekend, I'm doing a virtual retreat, so come through. If you listen to this like 3 weeks later, it happened, but you should check that out, all right? Happy Hanukkah.
And remember, you can join the award-winning Himeros. Well, we haven't won the awards yet. Himeros.tv in our biggest sale of the year. It's just $99 for a full year's access. It's a 40% discount, and you can get it all. Get it all at himeros.tv/pleasure. That's HIMEROS.tv/pleasure. Thanks so much for listening. And as always, more to come.